Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen of the beautiful Jira fam, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to wherever you might be in this global space that we basically live in now. We have a very special guest today, um, May Kami, and actually it's May MetaKami. Sorry about that. Here representing MetaKami. And how's it going? How you doing today? Thank you for so much for coming down.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm great. How are you?
I'm incredible. What I'd like to do is just like have people just give you the chance, give you the stage, the microphone to be able to talk to the Jira fam and to everyone out there that's listening on the recording. Just like tell us about why your project is special, why yours is different than, I guess all the other anime quote unquote looking art style projects and all that good stuff. So I just want to give you the floor. You can talk as long as you'd like, and then we'll open it up for some questions, and then yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Hi everyone. It's so nice to be here today. My name is May, and I'm the founder and creative director of MetaKami. And I guess I can kind of start off by introducing myself to you guys. I previously graduated from USC and then worked as a financial analyst. And I've also been doing freelance UI UX design and graphic design on the side for around 5 years now. I've actually joined the Web3 space since around June 2021. So, it's recently been my 1 year anniversary mark. And,
Amazing.
as soon as I joined the Web3 space, I really fell in love with it right away. I really like how it kind of allowed artists like me, as well as the rest of the artists on my team, a lot of creative freedom and creative expression, and it was just able to empower us in ways that Web 2 couldn't really do so because of how centralized it was. So that's why it kind of inspired me to start an all artist team of 6 to um, kind of help build Metakami and push forward the decentralized storytelling movement, which is essentially our focus for the project. That's a little bit about me, and I also love to kind of introduce you guys to the rest of my team as well. But we have 6 people in the team, so maybe we can kind of talk about that later on in the Q&A. But yeah, our vision for starting Metakami was actually not to be an anime project. It was more about spreading the decentralized storytelling movement. And then the manga and anime art came after because all of us artists, we were super, super big fans of anime and we were all avid manga readers. So, if there was one type of art that we had to choose and knew how to execute best, it would be, anime art. And being a team of 6 artists, we kind of really pride ourselves on the quality of art and the type of art that we provide as well. So we decided to go with, the option that we were really good at. And the goal with building Metakami is to kind of build out the lore and the brand with, the rest of the community, and then incorporating them into our social media and, our Discord and everything that's just tied to Metakami to really create this immersive experience into the Metakami universe for our audience. For us, we really value our holders more than just as readers. We actually want to call them co-authors because, at the end of the day, our key roadmap item and the key utility is the community driven manga, and it would be more of like a 50-50 effort between us, the founders and the artists, and our community who will be doing the voting and deciding on the strategic direction of the manga. For us, why we feel so strongly about this decentralized storytelling movement and why we want to propel this idea so much was probably because we were all kind of corporate slaves before at some point. Most of us have worked in, Web2 media companies before. And, one of the things that we realized while working in these big media companies is how problematic and how centralized storytelling and content creation is. Usually there's only around 1 to 5 people who, gets the final say in whether this type of movie or manga or anime is going to get published out into the world or not. And these type of people are usually really higher ups. And before it even reaches these, 1 to 5 people, it has to fit a very specific mold where, other people in the company believe that it will do well before it even gets sent out there. So, a lot of great ideas are kind of disregarded, and we really just don't like that. So, for us, we feel like for many years, gatekeepers kind of determine what tales get told, and they decide what type of content gets created and how or when people can access it. But we really kind of want to disrupt that pattern a little bit. So instead of kind of investing millions of dollars into a manga or an anime and then releasing it into the world to see if it resonates with, a certain type of audience or a certain type of community, we really want to go directly to our audience from the beginning and start there. And I think that's why I fell in love with Web3 so much too. It's really different from what Hollywood has done up until now, and I think that's really key to the next generation of IP creation too. So for us, we really hope that this decentralized storytelling model will build a lot of unprecedented loyalty because, our fans and our holders and our readers are actually going to be more than just consumers who we kind of pass the manga on and then just say like, hey, you know what, go and read this and see if you resonate with it. They're actually our co-creators, and we value them as co-authors. And kind of rather than starting with creativity and then trying to find a community, we're actually going to be embarking on this the path to kind of creating the MetaKami storyline and crafting the MetaKami brand together with our community. So yeah, I think that was kind of, our vision and value behind MetaKami and why we decided to start the project. And I think the one final thing that I wanted to add was that, since we are featuring our community as co-authors after all, we also believe that it's only fair that they're also compensated with, passive income options, just like how authors in real life would. So that would be, one of the key utilities in our roadmap items. And I'd be happy to kind of go over more detail on that as well.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think that was a little introduction on us.
absolutely. That was a great little introduction. I appreciate it, and definitely want you to just go into some more detail. I like to kind of leave this a little bit of an open-ended type of AMA where you can, just go into detail and talk about all the things that, in your opinion, are, really set, Metakami different than like everything else. Because like I know everyone else kind of like, when you come up with your project, you have these ideas in your head. You're like, we're doing this because it's going to be different from like from these people, and this is why we're going to stand out. So like, definitely keep elaborating on it because I'm definitely anxious and interested to hear more about it.
Yeah, of course. Sorry, I was scared that I was gonna ramble on for too long.
No, you
But
can't ramble for too long when you're on the stage with me because I usually am the one that rambles too long.
all
that's like
right.
my thing. I talk for hours and hours. So no, definitely go ahead. I don't want to like interrupt too much. I want to like, give this to be like a chance for you to like convince the people out there and the people that are listening to the recording. Why should you go over to your server and spend some time in there and try to get a whitelist, or why should you, mint it or buy off the secondary, and support your project. So
All
please
right,
continue
of
on for
course.
sure.
Okay, so yeah, I'd love to kind of go over, the key utility in our roadmap. So we've actually already published our full roadmap. It's on our Discord, on our Twitter. And we've actually released a full-fledged Medium article as well as a thread talking about this key utility on our Twitter too. So if you are interested, feel free to kind of check that out through our socials as well. But yeah, I'll give you kind of like a brief summary on what it is and how you'll be able to make passive income as holders of, the Metakami NFT. So basically, every week, we'll be releasing several pages of, the Metakami manga to our co-authors, or our holders to kind of vote on and take part in. And this would be really similar to a DAO structure, but it would be less intense, of course, because it's just voting on the manga. So we understand that DAOs can be very dangerous at times. And that's why we really want to start slow by kind of just giving them power to vote on the creative direction of the manga. And by creative direction, I mean the opportunities of you voting on the storyline are basically endless. We've actually already finished chapter one, and it will be available for you to vote on after you min. So, only in chapter one, there will already be questions asking about what characters are going to be the next character in the main chapter, what weapon they will choose, which will essentially just decide the entire, um, power for that character. Um, there's questions regarding the art style, like what type of art style the next chapter should be, as well as the chapter title, and just so many more questions. And how this would all work is that, as a holder, you would be able to kind of go onto our website and you would be able to connect your wallet to the website. And then you would be given access to this exclusive area on the website called the Kami Lab, where, we have our custom built manga reader. And you can essentially just flip through the pages, and then as soon as a choice presents itself that you have to vote on, a question box would just pop up, and we would give you around 5 to 10 choices to choose from, and the last choice would always be kind of open ended so that you can write your own answer. But if that answer does gather the most votes, then that's what we will go in for our direction of the manga. And in terms of accessibility, for the manga, holders will basically get to vote on the manga every week. And then, once a set of new pages are released, the voting for last week's set of pages will close. So, during the duration of, the voting, it will actually only be available to our holders. And then once the voting closes, it will become available to the public. And how we're planning on creating passive income for our co-authors, because like I said, we really want to provide them with income just like how real life authors would, and they are taking part in this really big decentralized storytelling movement after all, and kind of co-authoring this with us. So at the end of every month, so that would be 4 weeks, we would have finished one chapter. And what we will do with this chapter is we'll basically combine all of the pages in the last 4 weeks into one free to claim NFT token. And this would be released in the ERC1155 token format. And it would be released on a chapter to chapter basis. So I'm sure that you guys are kind of familiar with, what the ERC1155 token format is. But for those of you who are not, an example of that would be the Adidas Bored Ape collection, where you go on OpenSea and when you see it, you actually see that there's only one listing, but when you click on it, there's multiple holders. Or another example would be like some of the alpha passes that you see, like the Flipper Pass. So yeah, how our holders would be able to make passive income from these ERC1155 chapter tokens is once a new chapter has been released, our holders will actually get to will get an opportunity to burn the previous chapter in exchange for 100% of the royalties generated from the trading volume of the manga NFT in that month. So, just to give you an example so that you can visualize it better, say that you've received chapter one, and now you are claiming chapter two. So then what you would be able to do is you would be able to burn chapter one in exchange for 100% of the royalties that's generated from the trading volume of chapter one in the previous month. So another thing that we have incorporated is we really want to encourage, our holders in our community to kind of vote. So, if the holder had also participated in the voting of the manga, they will also be eligible for a free claim of this NFT, after burning your token, which basically includes all of the names of, our co-authors who had voted and participated in the voting, even if in the end. And this would kind of just act as a token of appreciation for co-authoring that chapter, and just acts as a little credit scene. So yeah, I think, that's one of the key utilities in our roadmap. I think it's a little different from how many NFT projects have done it before. Usually we see a lot of anime projects that come out with manga or content, but it's very much, hey, here's the manga, go read it and see if you resonate with it. If not, whatever. For us, it's more about, hey, here's like a brief set of pages with a very brief outline, and we want you to kind of choose your own adventure and, experiment with the storyline and then kind of help build out this entire storyline with us. So it's less about manga and anime, but more about the entire decentralized storytelling movement for us. And yeah, where we see ourselves in the next 1 to 2 years is, we really want to kind of expand Metakami into a global brand. Like I said before, you know, we really want to kind of capture the beauty of Web3 and, the essence of decentralized storytelling and kind of spread it back into the Web2 space as well. So contrary to like what, is really being done nowadays, you see a lot of Web2 companies moving into the Web3 space, right? We see Audi trying to make their own collection. Now we have Porsche. But for us, we kind of want to do the opposite. We just want to create this manga and then hopefully partner with a Web2 company to kind of put it in print, put it in different languages, and then spread it back into the Web2 space so that it entices, people who were not initially interested to kind of come join the movement as well. And we're going to try to do as many things as we can, like an anime or a game. And one of the things that we've actually been doing already pre-mint is we make our animated trailers in-house. So far we've released 4 animated trailers, and we actually have 2 more that we're going to drop closer to mint. So we had a lot of fun doing that as a team. And when our manga is done, we would love to kind of explore that option as well. Hopefully, maybe expand our team or, partner up with an anime studio or something like that to kind of put our manga into life. And hopefully, that would kind of bring more attention from people as well. But if you remember, I mentioned the DAO structure very, very early on about how we're kind of testing out this DAO structure with through the voting of the manga, which will be very, very little power. But hopefully, when we test that out in a year from now, we see that it goes well with our holders and our authors and everyone is voting responsibility. One of the things that we really want to have with Metakami is we want to capture how decentralized the brand is. So we obviously want to kind of involve our holders in our community in voting for the entire branding process of Metakami as well. So say that in the future we're able to kind of secure more funds either through VC or whatsoever, then we would also like to kind of involve our holders in deciding, if there comes a point where we had to choose between making an anime series or going forward with a game. Hopefully, we can kind of involve them in that decision process as well. So yeah, I think that was kind of our key roadmap item and what we see ourselves in the future. And yeah.
Very cool. No, it's awesome. Like I'll be honest, there's definitely I've had a couple projects come through, that are trying to do what you're trying to do, but it definitely sounds like the passion really resonates well with you, and I'm like really looking forward to this because I'm a huge, not only an anime fan, but I'm also a manga reader. I tend to read most of the, after they finally get translated from Japanese. But I'm definitely looking forward to this because I think that this, having the Web3 and the decentralized structure is definitely something that could be a really cool way to do exactly what you're talking about. And there's like a stigma with the
Mhm.
DAO word, but this is, in my opinion, like one of those things in Web3 that you can actually be able to have a successful DAO. And I'm definitely looking forward to it. I just wanted to say to everybody that's out there, make sure that you are, um, asking questions if you have any questions into the voice chat channel. If not, then I think that I'd just like love to hear if you want to talk a little bit more about just like how you think that you're going to be, how like other projects have done try to do this and have failed. Like where have they failed that are you going to succeed?
Yeah, of course. I mean, first of all, I think, in the space, there's already very, very little projects that's kind of trying to push forward the decentralized storytelling movement. So I think, the space is lacking in that area a little bit. Um, but I kind of like to start off by talking about some of our inspirations, of course. So we took a lot of inspiration from, Jenkins the Valet. If you've heard of them, they are also very, very much into decentralized storytelling. And, I really believe in their vision and their project because they have a very strong team and, their structure is also laid out very well and it's very similar to ours. For theirs, it's kind of like more just voting, voting, voting. And then at the end, you basically just get an entire book after voting for a while. But for us, it's more about like voting on a weekly basis so that people aren't bored, and it keeps people kind of interacted and just like hooked onto the story, I guess. And yeah, for our roadmap, I really like the burning mechanism and how we kind of structure out how you have to burn and exchange for your royalties. So first of all, it's just easy like supply and demand stuff, right? By kind of burning and lessening the supply of our manga, it drives up the volume for our holders so that they would be able to make more from our royalties. And I think that was kind of inspired by the roadmap that Azuki put out when they were releasing their merch for the blue merch with the tiger in the back. So if you burn it, you get a red jacket and then you get airdropped this red NFT instead. But if you don't burn it, you get to keep this really cool looking blue NFT. And I thought, I really like how they gave their holders a choice to kind of choose between what they want to keep. I think that's kind of what Web3 is all about at the end of the day. So I was super inspired by that. Yeah, and in terms of, how we're different from other projects and what we're doing differently that they're kind of failing to do. I think a lot of projects kind of focus on community involvement pre-mint and during mint. And then, around 80 to 90% of projects' community involvement really die down post mint. And sometimes, as time goes on, there's not a lot of community involvement at all. But for us, we really want to change that. We kind of want to start from ground zero as we mint and then allow our community to kind of grow with us, help make big decisions with our brand and our story as we go on. So there would actually be more and more community involvement as we go on. Because, like I said, we're starting slow with just voting from the manga, but the opportunities are almost endless. If it goes well, they could be taking part in like big branding decisions for us as well. And for me personally, I just feel like community is really organized around collective stories, right? By kind of valuing our holders as co-authors and engaging with them and allowing them to kind of engage in the story, it really encourages, our fans to kind of collect rather than sell because at the end of the day, a decentralized story like really gets its life from the people who participate in it. So I think that's kind of where we stand out. And I guess the last thing that I wanted to mention was we are building our community in a very different way from, most, I would say like maybe 60 to 70% of how NFT projects are kind of going about. So, first of all, before we started MetaKami, we actually started around mid April. But had this in, we had this in the works since December 2021. So, we worked on it for a couple of months before we actually released it into the public. And one of the things that we were working on so much was the lore and how we would be able to kind of tie this entire like lore and branding and storyline into, our Discord strategy as well. So I think that's why since we put so much time into our Discord strategy, I think that's one of the reasons why we have really, really strong community. So, for us, we really don't promote wireless grinding. I think it doesn't work for a project like us, especially when community is such a key. So what we do with our Discord strategy is we actually have this entire lore rolled out. So basically, I think for you guys to kind of understand, I'd like to talk a little bit about the lore of MetaKami too. So, we're set in the hyper reality of 3022, and in this hyper reality, nature has pretty much come to extinction, right? And there's two main areas in the MetaKami universe. There's the wastelands and there's the void city. And in the wastelands, everything is pretty much black and white. There's no more life. People have to wear gas masks, and it's just dead. And essentially, people are just trying to make their way into this small little city, this artificial city called the Void City, where nature is, being replicated to the best extent that it can be. And even though there's thick clouds of pollution everywhere, people put up holographic replacements of the sun, of the moon, of plants, of pets. There's plastic everywhere. So, in our Discord, everyone when they join our Discord, they start out as a scavenger, and then they start out in the wastelands, and they're trying to make their way into the Void City. And what they have to do is they kind of have to like just have fun with us and collect, survival kit items to make their way from the wastelands into the Void City. So, these survival kit items are, for example, like food, water, first aid kit, and ticket. And, we have different lore based events that we roll out every day that, allow people to kind of hop into VC and connect or talk in chat. Or, we also have quests that we roll out every Tuesdays and Thursdays. And, these events and quests are kind of rolled out through the characters that we role play. So we have Nana, who, is like a sweetheart, and she helps guide scavengers across the wastelands. She gives out tickets and roles to, people who are valuable members of the community. And then we have Okami Sensei, who's a little bit more mysterious, and he's the one who releases the riddles and quests and stuff like that. And yeah, we just kind of allow our community to have fun. And I think um, what we see from this strategy is that someone is always active in the voice chats, just trying to solve a new riddle, and or trying to solve a quest that we put out. And it just really allows people to kind of connect on a deeper level. And what I've noticed, after starting the project for a while, is that a lot of the whitelisted people really stick around, and they help out new members, and they welcome everyone to make them feel like a part of the family. And I actually just found this out recently the other day, but one of our OG members, he actually made an entire, separate Discord server dedicated to helping out the new members who wanted to solve like the quests and riddles too. So, that was like really touching, and they're just like my family
Very
at this
cool.
point. So yeah, I think that's kind of where we stood out with Metakami and community building and like the entire community aspect. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, that's very cool, and it's very apparent that you guys have put a lot of care into mint with like the story and all that stuff, like how in depth when you're talking about it. It's very cool. Someone was curious if they like how did you meet the other team members? Like friends, meet through work, via other projects or the manga scene, like or anything like that?
Oh, that's a great question. I always love kind of like talking about my team and where I met them. I always say I'm like the weakest link on my team. So I love shilling the rest of my team members. So yeah, I kind of love to introduce you guys to, like the rest of my team and how we met each other as well. So first of all, we have Linda, our art director. She actually graduated from Pratt and then previously worked at Riot Games as a character designer. And then she's also previously collaborated with Disney, Sanrio, and BT21. So Linda and I were actually best friends in real life, and the project started with us too. And we met through a mutual friend a couple of years back, and then as soon as we met, I think we just clicked right away, and we had a lot of similarities, and we have the same vision. So that's why we were like, oh, let's start a project on decentralized storytelling. And then the next person on the team is Brain, or Yutong, and she basically is our manga and narrative lead. She's in charge of the community driven manga, and she's had around 15 years of experience in the field, um, in the narrative and storytelling field, and previously worked for Ubisoft, Tencent, and that game company. And she's actually won an award for one of her storytelling works that she did in her past companies as well. And she used to work as a game narrative designer. So, it really goes in line with the choose your own adventure format that we're kind of rolling out for our community. And she has also published 3 original mangas of her own. And oh my God, I love her work so much. Her art style is just amazing. And I actually met her through the USC Alumni Associates. She, she also went to USC as well, and she graduated with a master's degree from the film school, and that's where I met her. And as soon as I met her, I really vibed with her right away. She was super funny and really outgoing, so kind of invited her to be on the team, and she was super interested in dipping her toes into the NFT space as well. So that's how she came onto the team. And then next on the team, we have Kotori. She is our manga artist, and she also helps out a lot with the NFT art too. She's definitely the most experienced on the team, and she has around 19 years of experience. She's also a Mensa member, so Mensa is like this really well respected Japanese artist community, and that's where Linda actually met her. They were kind of in the Mensa network, and then she asked Kotori, "Hey, do you want to kind of hop on to our team, to help out with NFT stuff?" And then Kotori was like, "Oh, I was actually meaning to, join the NFT space anyways, but she didn't really know how to, so this was the perfect opportunity for her." And yeah, some of her past works, she's published over a dozen of books. She also including an original one of her own called My Chopin, which is a pretty famous children's book in Japan. She also does a lot of iconic book cover illustrations. She did Three Sisters Investigate. She did the National Test Prep of Japan, which was super random. And she also does a lot of packaging design for Nintendo as well. And then next on the team, we have Panathi. He is our motion graphics artist, and he just helps bring the collection to life and helps out a lot with the animation that you guys see. So he's had around 10 years of experience in the field, and some of the past companies that he worked for were Toyota, Samsung, Red Bull, and Lego. And I actually met Panathi when I was working for another project back in 2021. And he was kind of hired on as like an extra artist to help out with the art. And I was just kind of the community manager. And I really liked his work ethic and his style of work, so I made sure to keep in touch with him. And he's also Thai, and I'm Thai as well, so we got along really well. And yeah, made sure to keep in touch with him. And when I started my own project, I reached out to him, and he was interested to be in the core team. And then finally, we have Eunbiel, our artist. She has around 12 years of experience, and Linda and I, we actually met her when she was working for Mangamo, when yeah, when she was a coloring artist. And we really like her lines and her colors too. And Mangamo is a really famous comic website, so her line of work really goes um with our project, and we kind of invited her to be the last member on the team. And then some of the past companies that she worked for were Shein and all the deeds too. So yeah, I think that's a little bit about my team, and how we kind of all met. I think one great thing about our team is that we were all kind of friends or mutual friends before, so it's really easy to kind of work with them. We understand each other a lot, and our roles are very, very unique, and they don't overlap. So there's not a lot of clashing opinions. Everyone works very peacefully. We only meet once a week because everyone's in different time zones to kind of coordinate over what we did, and then everything just goes really smoothly. So yeah, I love my team.
That's amazing. I think it's an extremely important aspect to the success of a NFT project is synergy amongst the team and just how cohesive and well you guys are able to work together. So sounds like you've definitely put together a team that's like has experience in the in the space that they're what they're professional in. And I don't know, I just you dropped a lot of names in there and a lot of like I was just like whoa, that's amazing, it's awesome, it's really cool to hear how you guys came together and everything like that. If there's anything like I'm looking in the chat here and not seeing too many questions, but I think that you also that
Mhm.
oftentimes happens when people explain their project really well. So I appreciate you doing that. I'd love for you to have the chance. I've been asking some questions throughout, questions from myself, but I'd love for you to, if there's anything else that you feel like you haven't had a chance to touch on that you really want everyone to know about, like, definitely feel free to go ahead.
Um, I think I covered pretty much everything. Um, I always have more to say. But if you're interested in Metakami, just and haven't heard of us before, make sure to check us out on Twitter. And if you have any more questions for me, you can just hop into our Discord. I'm pretty active in there, and I'm always hanging out in the voice chats and sometimes playing Tetris with like the rest of the community members. I love
Awesome.
Tetris, so so yeah, you can always like come in and ask me or a question, on the VC or ping me in the chats. And our pre-mint is actually live now. We're minting on the 19th, so we're only a week away, and yeah, we have a lot more things that we're gonna be dropping this week as we get
Yeah.
closer to mint. So like I said, we have 2 more trailers that we've animated in-house, and they look amazing. I can't wait to drop it for you guys to see. Um, so far, most of the pieces and sneak peeks that we've dropped are actually floor pieces. So, I'm looking forward to dropping more legendaries and stuff like that this week as well. So, yeah, I think that's kind
Someone
of
in the
it.
crowd asked, they were saying that some of the PFPs are animated and some are not, some of the sneak peeks, and they're just curious about the animated ones, if they're like one on ones or what's the difference.
Yep. So the animated ones are gonna be the one of ones, and then the non-animated ones are gonna be like commons to, almost legendary ones. But one of the things that we were thinking of doing in our collection is um Panati, our motion graphics guy, he loves to just animate like, random characters that he likes. So we might be animating a few random common ones too, just for fun.
Amazing. Very cool, very cool. Yeah, I mean, if there's no more questions, then I don't know if I think that we may have talked about giving away a couple spots. I know that not too many people are talking, but I know Crypto Viking was asking some good questions, and um, you know, maybe he or she deserves a spot if you have some to give away during this. I don't know if you
Yeah,
saw in the voice
yes.
chat channel, there's a text channel above this where we are in the stage, and all like the voice channels as a chat channel, and some people are asking some questions. So Light Geek has a question. Um, I'm more than happy to read it out to you, but I'll just let you know. So if you wanted to see if there's anybody asking anything.
Yeah. Is it in the voice
I-
chat?
If you look like above the voice chat, like the
Oh,
voice
yeah, yeah,
channels,
yeah,
it
yeah.
says voice chat,
Yeah, yeah.
and so I think
I see.
Light Geek is typing out a question. But yeah, I
Okay.
really appreciate the thorough, just description, and like when you're talking about your project, you obviously know it really well. Like I said, it's definitely been a little bit less people coming to, AMAs during the I think this downturn in the
Yeah.
market, but I don't think there's any issue. Like I said, I'm gonna record this and I'll even send it over your way if you wanna be able to
Yeah, of course.
share it
Thank you
there.
so much. Yeah, I'm sorry I kind of like rambled on a lot there. I feel like I talked for so long.
You're good. So, Light Geek was seeing as the team mostly comprises of artists, may I know the team will expand to include people with more specialization within the business aspect of NFT projects?
That's a really great question. And, like I said before, I graduated from USC actually with a business degree. So, I kind of handle all of the business side. And, the six artists are the core team members who, started the project with me. But actually, we have a lot more members on the team. So, we have four developers, and I'm also working closely with, two other advisors who are really reputable in the NFT space and have given a lot of great advice to, projects that were very, very successful before. I talk to them on a daily basis, in terms of marketing, mint price, mint strategy, and just everything related to, how it is in NFTs. Because even though I come from a lot of business background, I'm for sure, and I've been in the NFT space for a year. I still like to get a second and a third opinion from, my initial ideas too. So that's what I've been doing. And I guess one thing that I forgot to add is, like, I guess, the mint details. I forgot. So yeah, after talking to, a lot of advisors and kind of thinking amongst ourselves as well, we really want to make sure that, we understand that the elephant in the room is the bear market. And what we really care more about is this is our passion project at the end of the day. And we really care for the longevity of MetaKami. So, for us, we're gonna be minting on the lower supply side. So we're a 5K collection, and our mint price is 0.05 ETH for whitelist and 0.07 for public. And we'll be minting on the 19th of July, so that will be a week from now. So yeah, thank you for your question.
Absolutely. And so, someone in the crowd said, so the technical aspects are outsourced, talking about contracts and like back end coding and all that good stuff.
No, actually not. They're also a part of our team members. The lead developer, we have four developers on the team, two front end and two back end, and they're going to be working with us all the way until the end because we still have that manga voting system, which will be you will basically have to kind of connect your wallet and then store the votes on chain and stuff like that. So yeah, the lead developer is actually a mutual friend of mine that I met a couple years back, and he's worked on some really reputable projects too, so we know that he's good. And we're getting our contract audited by you know people who have audited really great contracts, and audited for great projects before too. So yeah, everything's kind of part of the team, and nothing is outsourced for us.
Awesome. Definitely good to know. Um, well, it looks like I think everyone's got their questions answered, and I think that I feel like you've had a very thorough, good AMA. Staying around. Well, the thing is that like when you're keeping it to an hour, that's usually like a pretty good one, unless like tons of people are asking questions. So we're right at about that point, a little bit underneath that. So I think that's really good. I appreciate you so much for coming out here. I know the Gajira family appreciates you coming out here, taking time out of your busy schedule to educate us and teach us about a really cool up and coming project. And I think that I think everyone out there agrees with me in saying that, we really wish you the best of luck and success of the project because it looks really cool. And I appreciate what you guys are doing. So I'm looking forward to having you guys succeed because like I told you, I love manga and I love anime. So here we go.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here today. It was, a pleasure talking to you guys, and hopefully you learned a little bit more about, our visions and values. And yeah, don't forget to kind of check us out, hop into our Discord, join our events. We're very, very active as we're getting closer to Mint. So there's still a lot of whitelist opportunities and stuff like that if you're interested. And yeah, thank you so much for having me today. It was a pleasure talking to you guys.
Alrighty. The pleasure is all ours. Thank you so much and have a good rest of your day.